Hello, I am Dishari Banerjee. I have completed my graduation in botany from Calcutta University, and then I have completed my post-graduation in molecular biology and biotechnology from Kollam University. My students and their enthusiasm is my motivation to move forward, and my journey has made me more passionate about my subject. So today I'm going to discuss about some exceptions of Mendelian's law of inheritance. Okay, so for that you first have to know about the term factor that has Mendel mentioned in his experiment on the pea plants, right? The term factor has been denoted as gene later on, and the gene is the unit of the inheritance, as you know. Why we call it the unit of the inheritance? Because Mendel has studied that those factors are being passed on from the parent to the offspring generation after generation. So we resembling our parents is being passed on or is being coded by the term gene. Okay, so gene is coding that particular trait or characteristics that is being passed on from our parent to us or from any parent to their offspring. Okay, so that is the term factors in that Mendelian experiments means. And after that we have find that the gene has two different forms. Okay, we term them as alleles. Okay, so you now know that gene is unit of inheritance and alleles are different forms of genes, right? So this two term has been clear, I think. So after the Mendelian monohybrid cross, two laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation, has been mentioned, right? So the law of dominance tells that the factors are the reasons for the characteristic that is being expressed, and the factors occur in the pairs. And the law of segregation also mentions that those two factors independently being passed on from the parent to the offspring, right? And during the gamete formation, one of those allele is being passed on from the parent to the gamete. Okay, and then it is being added, that is both the parents are giving one of the alleles of them to the gamete, and then the gamete is reuniting and forming the zygote, and that is how both the alleles is reuniting in the offspring. Okay, so now we know that law of dominance and law of segregation, but there are some exceptions to these two rules, like incomplete dominance. What is happening there? That the dominant allele is not completely dominating the recessive allele. Now we are discussing about incomplete dominance. It has been experimented on snapdragon species, that is Antherinum species. Okay, what has been taken? A true breeding red flower and a true breeding white flower. Okay, and the denotation for this red flower is capital R, and white flower is small r, smaller. We have not taken capital R, and small white, or right, like small w, or capital W, because it will make the cross or the crossing of the Punnett square more complex, right? So that's why we have taken that capital letter as the dominant allele and the small letter as the recessive allele. Okay, so for the simplicity of the cross. So now we have taken this true breeding red and the white flower, and we have crossed. This is the parent generation, and what we have got in the F2 generation, we have crossed them, and we have got all the pink flowers, that is capital R and small r. In an heterozygote, that is capital R and small r, in the Mendelian monohybrid cross, we have seen that the dominant allele expresses itself. But here, the dominant allele has not dominated the recessive allele completely. So that is why we are seeing a in-between character of red and white, that is pink here. Okay, so that is why this is incomplete dominance. After that, we have self-crossed the F1 generation. We have taken capital R smaller and capital R smaller, and we have crossed them. What we have got is that the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio for this cross is same, that is 1:2:1. Okay, we have found one red flower, one white flower, that is red flower is capital R, white flower is smaller, and two pink flowers, that is capital R and smaller, that is heterozygote. So here the heterozygote is showing a character in between two parents. Okay, so this is the characteristics of the incomplete dominance. So that is why it is an exception of the Mendelian's law of dominance and the segregation. Okay, so now another exception of the Mendelian law of inheritance is codominance. Okay, so in the codominance, F1 progeny is expressing a character of both the parents. Okay, in the incomplete dominance we have seen that F1 progeny is showing a character in between the two parents, but here the F1 resemble both the parents. Okay, so the good example of codominance is a human blood group. Okay, that is ABO system. That ABO system is being dominated by a gene, that is I gene. That I gene has three different types of alleles, that is IA, IB and small I. Okay, these are the three forms of alleles of I gene. Okay, so Ia and Ib are producing a different form of sugar. Okay, and the small I is not producing any kind of sugar. Okay, and also the thing is that Ia and Ib are completely dominant over small I. Okay, but when Ia and Ib are present together, as they are producing slightly different forms of sugar, so they are expressing together. So we call it a co-dominance. Okay, so when Ia and I is present together, at that time Ia will express itself as small I is not producing any type of sugar. Same goes for Ib and small I. Okay, Ib will express itself and small I will not express. Okay, but in the case when Ia and Ib, that is AB blood group, in AB blood group the Ia and Ib both are expressing itself, so we call it co-dominance. Okay, so this is another exception of Mendelian law of inheritance. I hope you have understood these two topics well. Thank you.